Welcome to Sunshine Cathedral's Queer God Squad. It's Friday, May 10th, 2024. I am Reverend Dr. Darrell Watkins, the senior minister here at Sunshine Cathedral.
I am Reverend Dr. Robert Griffin, the executive minister. Faith and religion can be complicated for the LGBTQ+ community. Surveys show that evangelical faith is the justification for the greatest attacks on the LGBTQ+ community.
I am Reverend Kevin Tisdall, the Minister of Education. The Queer God Squad is going to explore our religious community. Let's explore the big news of the day and what it means to you.
I am Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell, the Minister of Connections. This is live, and then we are available on demand. We are available on all smart televisions and your favorite social media.
At Sunshine Cathedral, we're here to tell you that you are God's miracle, not God's mistake.
This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective. Challenging queer faith. What's the deal about waiting until marriage to have sex? Recently, in the subreddit OpenChristian, a user who identifies as a Pansexual Lesbian in Christ asked the community if any LGBTQ+ individual had waited or would wait until marriage to have sex. Several users mentioned past as sex workers and the guilt they felt for turning themselves into a commodity and how they wish they had abstained. Another user mentioned that they were raised in the Mormon faith and saw people rushing to get married to satisfy their libido because they never learned to differentiate lust and love, and the marriages ended up failing. Another user pointed out that the Bible is wildly inconsistent on what constitutes sacred marriage, and that while their church and family shamed them for having premarital sex, they realized that was an issue with their community and not the actual Bible or themselves. Another poster suggested that men in biblical days had many wives. It is a practice that has become taboo in modern times. To them, premarital sex is the same type of issue. Here at the Queer God Squad, we have to ask, does waiting until marriage matter to LGBTQ+? You know, when I first read this, it kind of reminded me of what they would ask the heterosexual community. Do you need to wait until you're married in order to have sex? Everybody has to do what is best for them. Truly. You can be part of the queer community and not be sexually active. You absolutely can. And honestly, the Bible is probably not your best resource if you're looking for information regarding sexual activity and your sexual orientation. Dating myself now. There was no such thing as marriage equality when I was younger. I never, ever, ever envisioned that I would be able to get married. So did I wait? No. You know what? And that was okay too. I made some choices that maybe I probably shouldn't have made, and we all learn from that. But I did what was best for me, and I don't regret any of it. So wait or not wait. That is entirely up to you.
Right. I want to not disclose as much as Reverend Ann did.
Oh, come on, Darrell.
Only for the sake of time.
Tune in on Sundays at 10:30 a.m. for the rest of the story.
But did you have more to say about it, by the way?
No, that was okay. I want to hear what you have to say.
This is what I want you to know about biblical sex. This is how, although, there's adultery and fornication, all these things you hear about in the Bible. But this is how biblical sexuality works. A man can have sex with his wives,
Plural.
and with his concubines, which is sort of a secondary wife that doesn't get as much material benefit, and his slaves. So a man can have sex with his women. We're talking about property rights. So adultery isn't anybody having sex with anybody else. Adultery is when you have the nerve to step on some other man's property, whether that is his land or one of his women. And he can have women. Now, women don't have agency. Women can't have men's. Women can have a husband, even if she's sharing that husband with 6 other women. That's biblical. And so, but the man can have his wives, his concubines, and his slaves. And because they're his property, you are trespassing and loitering and abusing his property. And that's what is not acceptable in the Bible. It has nothing to do with romance. Women aren't even asked. This isn't a mutual loving situation where you're equals and you take care of each other. Women biblically have to marry their rapist, because now this person has sort of been owned by another man. And so he has to marry her. So she then has to, this is about honor and, whatever, but now she has to be married to the man who tormented her, who frightened her, who hurt her, but now she's a man's property, and he has to do the right thing and marry her. And you know what I mean? And so this is biblical sexuality. Biblical sexuality includes something called levirate marriage. When people, a biblical marriage, well, that includes levirate marriage, where you have to impregnate your sister-in-law if your brother died without children. Sometimes they get married, sometimes they don't. But it is your job to have children for your late brother on his behalf, because you share a name, share a family, so you become his surrogate. That's biblical sexuality, and that's biblical marriage, the levirate marriage. And so that's what it is. And so, and as you see, having to impregnate your brother's widow, or having to marry your rape victim and she has to marry you. Biblical marriage is sex. It's not vows. It's not love. It's not a clergy person standing in front of you. It's sex. And if this person has sex with this person then belongs to him. And if anyone else then has sex with someone who belongs to him, they have broken property laws. That's biblical sexuality. That's biblical marriage. Do you really want to have anything to do with that? Does any of that sound healthy or applicable for us today? That is, I promise, I'm not making this up. This is not hyperbolic. This is biblical sexuality. And in our context, it is loathsome. It is unethical. It is abusive. It is ridiculous. So should you wait till marriage? If it was biblical marriage, the minute somebody sold you, your daddy sold you to some guy, you were married. When the coins hit the hand, you were married. So that means your body and your sexual expertise, might not have had any yet, but the expertise you will develop, was sold to someone. So if you've done sex work, you've basically done biblical marriage.
Hey.
If money changed hands for you to be with someone, now I'm not saying, because I know sex work can be dangerous, and I know it's illegal in most places, and I'm not saying go do it. But if you have done it, don't feel ashamed of it. That was where you were in that moment. Maybe it was for survival. Maybe it was the best option at hand. Whatever. That was your body, and if you chose to do that with it, that was your choice. And now if you've chosen to do something else, fine. But don't let anybody shame you for what you had to do that they didn't have to do. So how can they judge you? And biblical sexuality is messy and complicated and misogynistic. So that's what I want you to know about that. So wait till marriage. What is marriage? If I would suggest that you wait till you're ready, which is probably not high school, certainly not the first half of high school. It might not be your first year or two of college. I would wait till you're ready. Most of us learn that by not doing that. I would make sure it was with someone I trust, someone I really like, that I believe really likes and respects me. And I would try to be safe in this world of all kinds of microbes and germs. You'll want to protect yourself. But wait till marriage. What is marriage? Marriage is a commitment. My husband and I have been legally married for 8 years. We've been together 24 years. And from the beginning, we had promises. This is how we're going to live together. We're not going to ever be physically abusive. Our relationship is exclusive. Our lives are a mess. We work together. We support each other entirely. If one is sick and the other isn't, then the one who isn't takes care of things. We made these promises from the beginning, which means we've been married 24 years.
Amen. Right. Exactly.
The state caught up 8 years ago.
Thank you.
But we've been married 24 years. So I don't even know. So what do you mean by married? You have to decide what that means. I think it means when you've made commitments that you have been keeping. You're married. If you want someone to say a prayer over that, that's your business. So wait till marriage. I would wait till you're ready. And not when someone else says you're ready. I would wait till you're ready and with someone that you trust and care about and that you believe cares about you and that you can do it safe. The leather community actually has a wonderful formula for this. If it's safe, sane, and consensual, there you go.
I remember back when I was in the military, one of my chaplains approached me one day and he says, what's your church's position on marriage and sex? And at the time, the requirement in MCC was that you had to live together for 1 year before a clergy person would perform a marriage.
Yes.
That was actually, I think it was in the bylaws at one point in time.
You had to be sexual.
You had to be sexually active, living in relationship.
But living in,
living together, you know. And he says, you know what? I'm part of a denomination that will tell you, no sex before marriage, extension, and everything else. And he looked at me and says, I think y'all got it right. Because if you've been together for a year, you pretty much know if you're going to work it out or not, and then get married.
Right.
And so I've often just kind of thought about the conversation about when people like are coming together, sex before marriage, after. It really, as you say, do it when you're ready, but also make an informed decision about what you want to do and how you want to do it. And I think you find a lot about somebody when you live with them before. Just saying.
And there's that.
You good people have taken this and put a stink on it that I can't add to. Thank you very much.
And how long have you and Michael been married?
My husband and I have been together for over 36 years. We've been together since 1987. So I can guarantee you that we did not wait until the government said that we could do the wild thing.
Did you wait till dessert that first dinner? I mean, did you?
It was our second date.
Oh, okay.
We decided that, we're going to see how this feels. 1987.
Yes. The second date was at Ollie's Noodles, and which they are banned from to this day.
No, that was IHOP. There's a story behind that too, but there's a picture of my husband in every IHOP in the nation.
I do want to. Modeling work is modeling work. I want to.
I'm not going to let him watch this episode.
I want to give you a name. Her name is Jennifer Grace Bird. She is a New Testament Bible scholar, and she actually does a wonderful things with this topic, with human sexuality, sex, and she'll often say, whatever's going on, she's like, well, this is about men. Men said, men decided, men. And so she really frames it beautifully. She has a PhD from Vanderbilt University. I think her MDiv is from Princeton. She was Methodist and Presbyterian. She's now not religious, because sometimes the more you know. But she's an amazing New Testament scholar, and she can really help frame this whole business about what biblical sexuality was and why it may not matter too much to us. We should probably make our own choices and make them in ways that are healthy for us, and not trying to follow the blueprint of people from thousands of years ago. All right, well, that's today with the Queer God Squad. We want to thank you for joining us. We're here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss what our LGBTQ plus community is talking about.
Sunshine Cathedral is the world's largest progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together, and we are all in this together. Remember that.
You are God's miracle, not God's mistake.
Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad. Goodbye.